Hi, welcome to the weekly. This is your source every Thursday for trends and innovations in the AEC marketplace. This episode marks the first week of spring. So congratulations, everyone. We're going to see warmer weather, longer days, more daylight in the evening hours, and hopefully for you and your families, a vaccination is soon on its way if it hasn't come already. If it has, congrats to you. Spring also means that it's Giants 400 season for those who are involved with Building, Design, and Construction magazine. This is a time when us editors start chasing AEC firms, you guys, for your Giants surveys. And the Giants program has been around for 45 years now. And of course, it's a ranking of the nation's largest architecture, engineering, and construction firms by revenue across more than 25 different sectors, subsectors, and specialty categories, and includes something like 135 lists in all. It's quite expansive. And again, we thank all of our Giant firms for participating each year. So you could download the Giant surveys. They're due on May 7th this year. And you could download them at bdcnetwork.com under the Giants tab. Our sponsor this week is Unilock. Unilock makes a full line of products for both paving and wall applications, such as retaining walls. And they have a company motto that is to design to connect. And what do they mean by that? They mean not only the products are designed to connect, to create compelling installations, but that they want to connect with you to customize your experience working with them. So whatever you dream up as an architect, a designer, a builder, a building owner, a developer, they will be able to work with you and your team to deliver just that. So thank you to Unilock for sponsoring this week's episode of The Weekly. In our first segment this week, BD+C's Rob Cassidy takes us into the world of the JUST label from the International Living Future Institute. What is the JUST label exactly? Well, think of it as a nutrition facts label for all types of business organizations, including AEC firms. So let's hear more about the JUST label program from Sean Hesse, a director with ILFI.
Sure. Well, the JUST program is really, it was launched in 2014. And really it was intended to build, kind of deepen the way that ILFI works towards social justice and advancing restorative communities. Our vision is, we work towards a positive vision of a world that's socially just, culturally rich, and ecologically restorative. So all of our programs touch on that, but JUST is really the platform that puts that forward the most.
And I understand that the goals are kind of relate to social justice, improving HR policies, and making life better for employees. And you've got these 6 categories that set the framework, and then each one has a total of 22. There are a total of 22 special indicators. So what are the 6 categories that you have to go through to get a JUST label?
Yeah. There's 6 different categories that represent kind of different aspects of the way that an organization interacts with their employees and their community. So we'll look at diversity and inclusion of the workforce and also the kind of the leadership. There's an equity category that looks at payment and kind of financial elements. There's a section around employee health. There's one around employee benefits. And then we look at stewardship and the supply chain and the purchasing practices.
More than 70 AEC firms have earned the JUST label since it launched in 2014. And if you want to know more about why, I encourage you to watch Rob's full interview. He talks with 2 AEC firms that earned the JUST label in the past 2 years. Okay, next up, we have an exclusive tour of a WELL Platinum certified design studio in Chicago. I was able to get out of this home office in early January and meet the leadership team of Perkins Eastman in their brand new office. The office itself actually opened in 2018, and last year it earned its certification, its WELL certification. But that's not the whole story here. The office is actually located in one of the most historically significant buildings in Chicago, especially from the architecture perspective.
So Jerry, we're obviously in the building where your new office is housed. Very famous building, and you picked this building for a reason, right?
As we did narrow down on the selection of the rookery in talking to Brad Perkins, we found out that when the building was completed, that his grandfather, Dwight Perkins, started his career for Daniel Burnham and John Root, and actually started in an office in this building.
It's absolutely inspirational. I walk in here and I just feel this pride of being in the space and just immediately feel that energy and all these details. You can't help but let them inspire you.
COVID hit, but it didn't put a damper on our office as such. We were still prepared. We still had everything in place. Yes, we had to go by CDC rules, have signage and wayfinding and all of that, but our office was ready in terms of monitoring air quality, in terms of making sure that employees were safe.
That was great stuff from the Perkins Eastman leadership team. I really enjoyed spending the morning with them, learning not only about the historic significance of the Rookery building, but also how this team was able to achieve WELL Platinum certification. If you'd like to join us on the full tour of the office and the building, the video is about 4 minutes long. We go a little bit deeper on both of those topics. You could click in and watch the full segment on the weekly. And that wraps up this week's show of the weekly. I'm so glad you tuned in. We have 2 fresh segments next week. One of them talks about best practices for pulling off historically significant adaptive reuse projects. And another one takes a look at Clark Construction's procurement program for minority and women-owned businesses. So thanks again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week.